Hello, brothers and sisters. It's been a while since we were live, and it's been, we've been looking forward to being live. Although some hitches here and there, but we are back. We are back, and we've missed you in our live, and we are hoping that you are doing fine. Today, you are seeing our title is Returning Home to the Motherland. Do you know how that came about? We had this video of Ibrahim Traore and actually Burkina Faso, and those guys talking about how the foreigners can stay in their country. We translated it from French to English, and a lot of people are interested in saying, I would like to go to Burkina Faso, I'd like to relocate to Burkina Faso. But before then, we'll do a recap like it's always our culture. Yeah. So what happened this week? What happened this week? We can go even beyond the week. The best was ECOWAS lifting sanctions on Niger and Guinea. You remember that?
Yeah.
And this came as a surprise, but it's something that we expected because they were paining and they had to fold up and, give priority to removing these sanctions. But guys, there's a story that came about where authorities from Niger went to the border with authorities from Benin were sent to the border with Niger. And they had already opened their borders. And when they got there, they found that in the side of Benin, the border is open, completely open. But looking at the side of Niger, it was blocked, and they could not pass. They were just disappointed. So I don't know what is happening right now, but what I know is as of today, Niger launched the Niger-Benin pipeline, which will start transporting the oil to the Benin Cotonou port for export. So they will be transporting their oil through Benin, and they actually opened they launched the pipeline today, and it should be working by May. Yeah, that is what is happening in those areas. Then we reported on Chad. Man, Chad. We were hoping it will happen.
It's yet to happen. I think
It's
it will
yet to happen.
eventually.
But
yeah.
but right now we can say that the opposition of Chad is completely crippled, and there's nothing they can do. And today, I think today, the transitional president of Chad, that is Mahamat Kakadebi, who's been launching, this, can we say, attacks on the opposition. He has actually decided that he will vie for president. And nobody is talking. They killed the opposition leader, the person who was supposed to fight this guy. And now this guy will be vying for presidency, I think in the next 2 months or so. Imagine. Imagine it was Assimi Goita who was vying. And the same thing happened when I saw the USA in France telling Assimi Goita to stop keeping quiet, and because Mali had said that they'll be having elections, I think right now in March, and they're saying you should not keep quiet. We are waiting for you to have elections, and people are asking them, but you guys are fighting Trump out there. If it's democracy, why don't you let him vie? And they are pushing Assimi Goita to do so. Imagine if it's Assimi Goita who is vying or Ibrahim Traore, it would be crazy. But now it's because it's their own person. They are not
Pushing.
they are not pushing for it.
My question is, why are they always in a hurry to push these guys to go for elections? Like those three, their main concern is this guy is going back to the ballots. And when systems work, I mean, the systems are working in the Sahel, in the AES.
Everything is
Why
working.
should you push
People
us
are
to?
happy.
The people don't even care about elections right now. Nobody's even
Actually,
bothered
they don't want.
about elections. And here you are, so much concerned about your democracy. I don't know what is so important about this democracy that you feel like if we don't push these guys, man, we are done.
Of course, they are able to manipulate the leadership, and the person who becomes their leader is a sellout. Or they sell us, and they are their own puppets or marionettes. So I don't know, but they are not pushing for whatever, like make your own governance. They are pushing for our democracy because democracy is Western. We know that. Yeah. Then from Chad, we go to Senegal. Senegal, we guys remember the president of Senegal had postponed the elections, and together with his parliament, they had done that up to December, I think 15th. And people continued fighting, and even the AU, ECOWAS, even the people in the West pushed Macky Sall, the president of Senegal, to decide on a date. So he called religious leaders, political leaders, and some civil societies last week. I think it was supposed to start on Sunday up to Tuesday. Not this week, actually. Sunday up to Tuesday this week, so that they can discuss and come up with a date. But the opposition refused to go. And the opposition is like, we want elections before April 2nd, because as per the constitution of Senegal, the president is supposed to leave office on April 2nd. And remember, they say that we are not going to allow you to go past April 2nd. So he has one option to organize the elections before April 2nd,
yeah.
or if the elections are to go beyond that, someone else has to be the president for the period. So they met on Tuesday. Tuesday was 25th or something like that. They met and they decided that the new date will be June 2nd. And there's a lot of, arguments because of Ramadan, the holy month of.
They feel like it's just an escape.
Yeah, because it won't be easy for you to
Conduct elections.
No, a campaign. Campaign during that period of. So it'd be like you're wasting some time, because you cannot do this during our religious period.
And those people respect.
They do respect their religion. They do, and if it's time for prayer, it's prayer, and you cannot get them out to tell them that I want to do this for you. So they met and they decided June 2nd. So I think the opposition and some 200, I think, civil societies, I'm not sure, said no, we are not accepting this, and after April 2nd, you won't be the president. So Macky Sall has two options. I think he has decided the two. Either he continues as president up to June 2nd, which will bring a lot of chaos, or the leader of the parliament will be the president for the time being. I think the second one will work, and there will be no chaos. But something is, the opposition is 100% sure if they did an election today,
they are in.
They are the presidents, and we'll see years from we missed Chad. From Niger,
Eventually, Chad
Burkina
will
Faso,
come.
Mali, Senegal, we missed Guinea. Yeah, Guinea. You remember the president of Guinea, what he did? He cancelled the whole government, fired the ministers and all that. The prime minister.
He reinstated. Or
Yeah, he has appointed another guy who he was in the previous government. So it's the parts of the same feather. Yeah.
It's always jokes. I think, when France strategizes, for them it's just a matter of reshuffling in such a way that even for Senegal, I think there are arguments that they are trying to put their own. It's a different person, but the same.
Yeah, they needed time because they already lost. Thank you, Carlos. Hi to my favorite duo with the latest news from the motherland. I'll be in Kenya within a week. Wow, welcome to Kenya. We hope to meet you. You can tell us when
you have
you'll
our
be
number.
here.
You have our number, sir.
Yeah. Please,
Oh,
we
that's
can meet.
nice.
Yes. So, did you see the president of DRC wants to meet President Kagame? They were. I think they were in Angola.
What happened to dealing with Rwanda when he becomes president again?
Yeah, the thing is, according to Sputnik, they are saying DRC president seeks meeting with Rwandan counterpart to discuss regional instability. They say the president of the DRC, Felix Tshisekedi, expressed his willingness to meet his Rwandan counterpart, Paul Kagame, to address the instability in eastern DR Congo. The Angolan government's press center said following a meeting in Luanda between Tshisekedi and Angolan President João Lorenzo. So the press center cited Angola's foreign minister Tet Antonio, who also attended the meeting to discuss the situation in East Africa. If they can meet up and we see peace in Congo, wow, it will be wonderful. Our brothers and sisters in Congo have been seeing a lot of,
But
problems.
do you think just from maybe it's the beginning of it will be the beginning of a new era for
Yeah.
Congo, but just looking at how much this thing has caused for Congo over the years, how much damage, how much so many people have died.
Millions in the
And
last
it's not
10
like
years.
these guys don't know what is happening. They know very well. They just need to, put away their differences, come together, talk. We hope that this is the beginning of a
Yeah.
positive step towards stopping whatever is happening in Congo. Because this is something, it's something that is being modeled by somebody so that they can benefit from Congo. Everybody knows that. And you just wonder why our president would be so evil not to have the heart to say, this is enough now. You have done it, it's enough. I mean, how can you add on to the fire?
Yeah, I think I don't know what happens, but I think when you are those guys, you only think about you and your family. Beyond that, let them go to wherever they are going.
And there's
We don't
always
care.
consequences. So
Yeah.
eventually, all of these guys will come to pay for what is happening in Congo. If you are a president and you know what is happening and you're just letting it be or helping to continue it, then eventually it will pay. Carlos says, "You're welcome. I will let you know the day I arrive." Yay!
Yay.
Do you want us to organize? What are those people called with the drums?
Those who dance.
Those guys who dance at the airport and welcome you with a very lovely song. What does the song say?
Dances.
No, there's this very famous.
Jambo Ken.
Hey, Jambo.
Hakuna Matata.
There's a brother from the US who said he hates that. If he has to come to Kenya, please, we should just make sure that there's nothing like
It
drums
doesn't
and I think it's a nice way to welcome our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. If you'd like that, Carlos, please let us know. Or we'll just be the ones dancing for you.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
So Malema spoke last week
Yes.
on Radio Kaya 995.
Mm.
And he said some very beautiful words, which we put on the channel. Guys, we know you watched that, and Malema always moves my heart. And we hope that he will be the next president, as in, because they are voting on April.
I think so. May, is it? Early
April,
May?
May. I'm not sure.
Early or late
But
May?
we
Early
are hoping
July,
and
June.
we are praying that this
Let me
guy
just confirm.
becomes the next president of South Africa, because according to Malema and according to how he is, he will not just be the president of South Africa. He will be, we will be celebrating him like we usually celebrate the AES. Yeah, and we are hoping that nobody will try to, to do anything to jeopardize
Yeah?
this.
I'm just trying to confirm the election date.
It should be either April 2nd or May 2nd. I'm not sure.
29 May 2024.
Okay,
Yeah.
29
So
May.
it's late May, early June. Hopefully it
Yeah.
will be on the 10th. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also are looking forward to
Yeah, and we
Malema.
are praying because if he is able to do what he says then for South Africa and Africa at large, and him being the leader of one of the biggest economies of Africa, he can be able to push for this, one no borders, togetherness, the unity of Africa. At least we don't have to wait up to 2063 to do these things, because even 2063 we'll be talking about unity if we don't unite now. And the good thing about Africans is, go to any African country and they realize you are not from their country, they welcome you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Most
people,
Yeah.
they welcome you and they will be amazed. Because which country have you ever gone across Africa and they say, as in, people just know you're not from their country and they relent from, welcoming you. I've only seen positivity.
Yeah, well, I think it's just like anywhere else. There's people who are welcoming, then there's those people who
I know
host
you've you've had
would
your
be
fair
hostile to
share
you.
with the border guys.
That's a story for another day. My experience with Ugandans was not so positive.
No, that's the border.
That's the
No,
border.
that's the border.
You see,
The
the reason I'm saying
not Ugandans, it's the border.
why is it that border from Kenya to Uganda, then Uganda to Rwanda, all of them. So for me, I just conclude and say my experience.
But do you know what? Do you know what makes it easy for people to unite? Meetups. Can we be able to go to Ethiopia easily and affordably? Can we take a bus from Nairobi to Ethiopia, Addis, without requiring to pay a lot of money? Because flights are very expensive across African countries. Can we afford to go to even Zambia or Malawi without those restrictions, without paying a lot of money? Can we go for lunch in Lusaka or in Bujumbura or in Vidho? Is it Viduk?
Windhoek,
Yeah,
Windhoek.
Viduk in Namibia.
That's
If we are able to do that, then we'll be able to meet other people. And when those other people meet us, and they'll be like, how did you manage to come to our country? We use this bus. It comes every week. You'll be also, you'll be also challenged to do the same and go to the other country. So it can happen. And who are these people who own these buses? It's people who are investing across this. So it's our brothers and sisters in the motherland. It's our brothers and sisters from the diaspora who have come to invest in those transport systems. So until we are able to allow that, and Malema is that.
Atom Enterprise says, hey, I appreciate you guys. It would be nice for you to talk more about what's been floating around claiming American women and Americans in general are not safe in the motherland. Well, I've seen a story, I think I told you about it, of a lady in Gambia who had relocated, that lady from the US.
That was Kenganda who was talking about.
Yes. A lot of people actually have been reporting about it. It's not one lady in the Gambia actually who died mysteriously. Like women from the US who have relocated to the Gambia apparently just go and you hear of their death and you're like, what happened to our sister?
So that is why we are here. Like today we'll be talking, actually I think all the points on what is happening this week, we have finished. Though Ethiopia is fighting the UK, Zambia and Zimbabwe have a drought and they are very rich in minerals. That should not be happening. So to our topic of today, returning home to the motherland, what do I need to know? But the best and the first, what I can say, the very first most important thing to do is to do your research on the country, because you need to know about the security, and you need to look out for other people who've been there before. Like Kenganda, there's a brother who is in Kenya and Uganda. He has a channel called Kenganda. Kenganda talks about, shows a lot of experiences of African Americans in both Kenya and Uganda. And I have seen, and Tanzania too, actually in East Africa, and I've seen positive vibes from our brothers and sisters who have come to stay here. But you also need to know where you're staying, because in every country, even in America, you find some neighborhoods are not safe for you as a foreigner. It's also the same here.
Not even for you as a foreigner, just for you. Even for us, like African women, it's not like it's all safe for us because we are African. Well, when you are African American, you stand out because one, your accent and the way maybe you'll be spending your money and living your life, you'll be living larger than most African people. So yes, you will stand out, but it doesn't mean that it's just like everywhere. And then just like you're saying, do your research. Maybe have a community. Don't just come and be the first one and the only person you know in that country. I've done that in the past where you can risk and go to a different country without knowing somebody. And maybe you'll be one of the lucky few that you build a community from there. But knowing that this has been happening and it's not just one case, I would advise that, hey, don't just go blindly.
When we talk about the Gambia, a lot of people relocated to the Gambia about 2020, 2021. Remember when we had our sister Black Seed and Wodemaya went to the Gambia, and
Mm.
the lady was amazed by Gambia, and she relocated with her family there. But before relocating to the Gambia, she'd been there a couple of times.
Mhm.
So that is another thing that you
That's
need
the
to do.
research part of
Yeah,
it. Mm.
you need to visit. You
That's
need to
it.
visit,
That's
and
it.
when you visit, actually, then you have your own people. Probably you have located some people. You go and ask them, how is it?
Even your instincts. You know, when you visit a place and you just feel goosebumps everywhere, you don't feel
You
safe
don't
all the
like it.
time,
Yep.
you don't like it, you have so many complaints. I think it's safe for me to say, I cannot live in this place, go. And the
Yeah.
lady from the Gambia, she says that she could feel that people have been following her. She was not safe, but she continued to stay. Now, the question is, why would you stay in a place where you don't feel safe?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you just go? We don't know the reasons. Maybe she was being threatened. So there's just too much, you know.
But the story revolved about meeting someone,
Yeah, she had
and
met somebody and now wanted to separate because she felt like spiritually
you are
this
not
guy is
connecting.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's not good.
This one thing, this. I don't want to say it's a myth,
Mm,
but this one thing in which people in the diaspora, our brothers or our sisters, who say people in the motherland are rooted. Like the women in the motherland are feminine and all that.
mm-hmm.
And they have seen people who came and married women and they had a beautiful life.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a YouTuber we used to watch in 2021 who relocated to Uganda and found a girl. And
What happened to him?
they fought. I don't know what happened.
Oh, they fought,
They
yes.
fought.
That was a movie.
So what I'm saying is, if she came and she found love,
Mm-hmm.
one thing is also in Africa, like our brother Ang is saying, they are scammers, and I know we are bad scammers in America, and people come up missing every day. So I really don't like, but they are scammers. People, like, we've seen stories from Nigeria where
Yahoo
people
boys.
it's like you're scamming someone through, like, making them fall in love
There's
with you.
documentaries actually.
Yeah. So there are people who do that. So the best thing is first lay low and, first try reconnecting. Okay, have you could have someone who, then you try to reconnect with the people. And the best people to reconnect with as you start is the people in the villages. But people in major cities like Nairobi, it's
a
easy to
business
be
for them.
it's easy to be scammed by some of the people there. Yes.
Let me tell you something. In Kenya, they have areas where it's just known that Nigerians do business, online scamming business in those apartments, those areas. Even in the Gambia, the story apparently from what I heard is that it's like a group of guys who monitor these ladies who come in. Of course, they know these are ladies, single women. Most of the time, it's just single African American women coming to the motherland. Some hope to settle, some are just there for the vibes, for the fun, to experience the motherland and maybe eventually relocate. So they usually know that, there's one, it's like a target, there's one that is come. You need to find out where she lives, movements, where she goes to, maybe with places she likes to hang out. Then they become the target, they befriend you, they start scamming you with love. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
everywhere.
It's for your money.
Even for Africans. Africans do experience that with
Gambia.
some Nigerians and some guys. Not just Nigeria. It's South Africans out there. It's just bad, man. You just need to be very careful. Like it's not even about African Americans. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And Gambia is like it's been growing as a sex tourism place.
Yeah.
And
Pedophiles. We've seen
you see a lot of white women coming to get married to very young guys. And those young guys will be saying, oh, we're in love. But of course we know what is it about. And Carlos will be attending a meet and greet hosted by residential tourists. Welcome. And this is one way of coming to experience motherland, the motherland for some time. Then you can decide. And if you get some time, you can visit the innermost city of Kisumu. the
Dianis,
you can go to
Mombasa,
Mombasa, the coast city. You can go to the Rift Valley city of Nakuru. You see Lake Nakuru, you see flamingos. You could visit the wildlife, Masai Mara, and a lot of other things. Then you can meet people, talk to people, and you have your own experience.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was sad cases of some falling victims to fraudsters. As a woman, you should not be traveling anywhere long term alone. Well, I think the best thing is to know one, where you're staying is safe. Like in the city of Nairobi, we say the uptown, it's very safe, where the international people stay and all that, and it's not very expensive. It's affordable. Then in those areas you find there are malls, there are anything that you need, all the amenities. You want to go for clubbing, night out, you experience that in those places, and you find that is where you connect with people from the US. But there are places where you cannot come as a first a person who's coming for the first timer, and you go living in the Islam.
How now?
Yeah,
You know, that's
so there are just places which you can even find someone who is from the US or from the UK or from the diaspora, or a local person with a YouTube channel like us, to tell you can live in this neighborhood and you'll be safe. Then when it comes to transportation, we have most things like the US. We have Uber, we have Bolt, we have we have those are the major ones. There are a lot of them, and they are not just in Nairobi. You go to TZ, you go to but when you go to Ethiopia, you find their own local. They don't have Uber, but they have like their own Uber. When you go to Rwanda, you have, it's called Yego. Yego. And Yego is also in Kenya.
Yeah.
So when you go to South Africa, you find Uber. When you go to so they are all there, and they are local. Like in Kenya, you find Little. In South Africa, you find which one do you bargain? You can bargain.
Is it not Bolt?
But even Uber in Mombasa, you bargain. You can actually bargain. So before you start linking up with people, you'll be safe by yourself. Then when you start linking up with people, take your time to learn them. Don't just go out to those
nightclubs
with those guys before you learn about them.
If you can, like, there's a brother who's I think for most of the people we've interacted with from the US, they want to experience the clubbing culture, the parties and all of that.
They want to meet the local people.
Yeah, if you are alone, I would just say that's a no. Until you build that community where you can go as sisters, as girls, and at least you have that safety that don't just go out and say.
By the way, if you ever go to Facebook and you type, for example, just type Kenyans in Italy, you find a Facebook group. You type Americans in
Kenya.
In Kenya, you find them.
There's always a group of expatriates.
There's always a group of expatriates. And we have Kenkada, we have Osheduke. Osheduke Jackson is in Kenya, I think. And you know Osheduke. The guy was interviewing people on the streets, asking them, what do Africans think about African Americans? Let me put this here. Osheduke Jackson talks. He has a lot of experience and he has a big YouTube channel.
At this point, I've seen a lot of our sisters moving from the US directly to, say, Tanzania. And you find that because of the language, it's so difficult to maneuver. So that's one other factor that you need to consider. Language. Tanzanians who speak their Swahili. And you guys looking like us.
They still speak. But, let me tell you guys, if you're anywhere in the motherland, for example, in Nairobi or in Kigali or in Kampala or in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, the first instant as an African American or an African Brazilian or African British.
Yeah, anyone with our skin. Really.
Yeah, the first instance that people see you, even in the market, say you are trying to buy an octopus for your dinner. Yes, octopus. They will speak to you in the language of
The local language.
yeah, language of their fathers.
That's just the first.
Yeah. So it will be, for example, they speak to you in Swahili everywhere until you say,
I'm done with this
I cannot
country.
understand. But in Kenya, when they know that you cannot understand, they switch and it's very easy.
But now the problem with that is if you don't know the language, then you become a target for most. Like in
Yeah.
Kenya, now you are the person to go to. If they want to make money that day, you become their bank for
Yeah,
the day.
yeah. When you want to buy something and they realize that you're not from there, wow.
So what I can say is I could encourage our brothers and sisters to maybe first learn, relocating to me, as I understand it, you wouldn't just wake up and say, I'm going to Kenya tomorrow. Learn a few words in that language. If you can find somebody to even tutor you when you are still in the US, someone from that country, ask them to teach you a few things to maneuver. Because one thing that as Africans in the continent, when we realize that, hey, this person speaks our language, we tend to accept you even faster and more than somebody who now I have to struggle speaking. Like right now, we're struggling with English, guys.
But do you know something
yeah,
which works very nice? You don't have to learn as you come. But you could have Duolingo or Babel. It's Babel.
That's what I'm saying.
And you come learning some simple words.
Just for even your hi. What is your name? My name is. Introducing yourself. They see, this is somebody.
Yeah, but with that, it's very easy to come and start learning from listening.
Learning language is all about
interest. And it makes you get more accepted easily. Mike Pierce is saying, "Go back to Africa" is another one. Yes, go back to Africa.
Go black.
Oh yeah, it's go black. Yeah, go black to Africa. Go black to Africa. We've been watching him, and there was a time he was in Kenya with his family. You remember when his daughter had to even study online, those Zoom meetings with her tutors.
Yeah.
When they were in Kenya, and it was perfect. Him and his family. Imagine you can come with your family, visit, stay for a month, and you are safe. You are, so it's easy. Ang is saying it's not safe for a foreigner to go to Europe alone as an individual either, but it's too much going on with Africa and the diaspora as a whole than to focus on this division that separates us. Yeah, I think what we can say is you still need to start that step and say I'm going to the motherland and I'm going to experience. And like our brother Ayamarwa does when he goes to any country, he goes to the villages and he meets people. That will be, you could be staying in the city, but you say today I'm going to the tea plantations. I'm going to meet people in Lari.
Connect.
Just going, talking to people, because in Africa, when we talk about Anglophone, those countries which study English, like in Kenya, Uganda, when you go to the villages, even kids will try to say some words in English with you, so you won't get lost.
Yeah. And one thing we should understand about Africa is that the culture, as much as we are cultured, most African countries are cultured, you find that it deteriorates as you get into the cities. So the bigger the city, you find that people there are uncultured. What am I saying? You find that a lot of people they just live their life, don't care. And compared to the village where people are still rooted, if it's accepting you, receiving you, they'll go all out, they'll slaughter a goat for you, they'll welcome you and make you feel, so welcome, such that you wonder, how is it different from the big city that I just came from? Life in the cities is very expensive. People don't have time to be entertaining you with, some expenses also.
Yeah.
So we should also understand that. Yeah.
And in the city, you remember we have this.
Even the stress levels.
Yeah. We have this rural urban migration, and people are going there to look for money.
Very stressed people.
Yeah. But in the village, they are growing their food. They are eating from.
There's just plenty. You never think for a day that when am I getting.
I noted this comment from Juma Boutique, and says, uh, I need to
That same one.
yeah,
Oh.
because not that this he said
Is it that a
Kengada
she? I think she
Oshedu,
said she.
okay,
Yeah.
Oshedu Jackson, his analysis tends to be problematic as a subscriber to nativists, FBA and ADOS viewpoints. These groups are black white nationalists. Yeah, you've heard of ADOS, eh? The guys who say we are not African Americans, we are black Americans. It's their opinion.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
The so-called division that separates us is all manufactured. I wish people would stay off social media.
exactly. Even with what is happening in the Gambia with our sisters who just perished, it's not just in the Gambia. What we are saying, there's usually a narrative that is being sent just to destroy
Yeah.
the image of that
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
Even for Ghana, I don't know why Ghana has been so respected even after the year of return. They just want to demolish or destroy your image so that
But
none of you guys consider
The year
going
of
there.
return was very successful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder why they never thought of distorting the whole concept of year of return
Yeah,
and making
but
people.
remember we saw a video of one sister saying you should not go back to Ghana or something. But we also saw people from even Jamaica owning land. And I think the government of Ghana, then people, Nana was good. Nana, what is his name?
Nana Akufo-Addo.
Yeah, it was good. And I think they got land. And some people even settled there. And there was this young man you were showing me, in which he moved with his family. He was being interviewed by our sister. What was Natural Ghana right now? You remember that interview?
Which one? The
That
guy
young-
who started
That young guy
who
who
has a
had
real
this
estate business right now.
very young person,
With
very
the
young.
uncles, yeah.
Yeah, with his family, and they are doing very good in Ghana. So it's easy to invest in Africa and to be successful. Yeah. So the cities in Africa are just like in the USA. People are much more rude and focused on themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's just like that. We are so stressed in the cities, guys. You have rent, you have bills. When you're still expecting, you've just paid your water bill and electricity bill is here.
Yeah.
Man, by the time you realize this is somebody I should be welcoming, the frustration is just all over.
But the good thing about we still find space. We still find space for welcoming.
Yeah, for welcoming. For some. For others, it's just so difficult that you wonder, now who is this person wanting to be welcomed in my space when I'm also struggling? All right, some people
dislike Oshe, full-blooded African. ADOs, African descendants of say, yeah.
Okay. What's this one? Dane says, why is it not appearing? Greetings. I will travel to West Africa in the coming months.
Yes,
Hopefully Burkina
yes.
Faso or Mali or Niger.
And I think when you have an American passport, you do have a lot of advantages. Yeah, you should visit Burkina Faso. But I'll say the problem with those countries is French. That is one. If you can speak French, you're good.
Good for you.
But the good thing about those countries is those people try. They try to speak English. And not once I've met a lot of them speaking English, even if it's so difficult.
Broken English.
And you ask him, how did you learn? And he say, I just stayed with someone and they taught me for some weeks, then I continued. Then where did you learn? You find more people know English in those countries than people know French in these countries. But all in all, like Malema said, we need one African language. Because imagine those guys can speak Swahili. It would be so easy, it would be so easy. Even guys coming from relocating would only be requiring to learn one language and you are good.
Mike says, O'Shea does not speak for all diasporans. He is definitely a bit more westernized in his views. There are aspects of his views that reflect European white bias and preferences.
but he's still staying here.
Yeah.
So
But I think it also depends maybe with your upbringing as a person. My views as me coming from a very cultured country would be very different from somebody whose country still in Africa, whose country is not so deep into culture, you know. So I think sometimes it's just about upbringing, and you should understand that this is an individual.
talk about
Yeah.
culture.
Mhm.
We have a very different, no, I can say culture in Africa. Like there's a way people will perceive things different from what they
In
do
the
in the
south, in
diaspora.
the west, in
Yeah. And one thing is religion has really eroded our culture, but we still have some culture like that,
grounding.
grounding. But another thing is most of the things you see, if you find in the cities of Africa, are copied from our brothers and sisters in the US.
That's it. That's the cow. Actually, when you adopt the American, well, African American culture in the cities, that is, you are perceived as the cool kid, and yeah, that is how some African countries are, some African cities are. His friends,
Jen is saying,
I
I
wanted to
wanted to travel
travel.
to Burkina Faso, but I'll see if I can take a bus to Burkina Faso. If you are in
Take a
Ghana,
bus from where?
from Ghana, or yeah, is French spoken in the villages
Ooh,
in
in
Kenya?
Kenya.
In Kenya, even us don't speak French because Kenya was owned by British. They came
Yeah.
and stole our things in our land, and they forced us into their religion and their
Language.
languages. So that's why we are speaking this tongue. But
Well, it's being taught in schools.
yeah, it's being taught in school. It's although we study Swahili in school, then we study English
English is the
and
language of command.
instruction. But some times ago, we used to speak our mother language. We would get trained up to some grade 3, then we would train in Swahili and English. But French is just taught in very minimal
private schools.
eh? And it's just for making money. They don't even know how to say bonjour after.
But it's an effort. All right. Ang says all Westerners are not westernized. What am I? Are not westernized. They are those of us who are foreigners to the lands we are born into. Social media needs to be flashed with more diverse perspective to balance the reality. That's for sure.
The good thing about social media is it has enabled us to link up, one, with our brothers and sisters in the US and with us. Although you find we have Twitter wars, Kenya, Nigeria, Nigeria, South Africa, Twitter wars, but it's for fun. Then, but you find someone on Twitter being followed by people across or divide, and they are very serious on him talking about the decolonization of Africa and waking up Africans, and that's where you can see through social media a lot of people have woken up. It's not like some years back when you could not even tell someone anything. They knew the white man is a savior, and they knew that. How long should you stay in a city when you visit with plans to relocate in the future? A few weeks, a month, 6 months?
That's the capital city, for example.
Like you are visiting.
Yeah, Kenya.
It depends on what you want to do. Okay, because one thing is when you want to relocate, but you are visiting. So you need to know what business can I, because you need to be independent in a way. You need to start your own company and thrive, employ people, and like Ibrahim Traore talks about shea butter and is very passionate about it. And he says, God gave us this natural resource which we never planted, and it's here. So imagine we have a sister in Tanzania who got married from the US. She got married to a Tanzanian. And when
traveling sister.
Is she still in YouTube? traveling
Yeah, but
sister.
she posts really. She's
And when she went there, she found her husband was a teacher, but they started a lumber business, that is timber. They started
no. They
selling
they already had it's
that
a
one.
family business, yeah.
Then they went ahead and did some seaweed, and
Mm.
she had a website, and she was shipping seaweed from
From TZ
Tanzania
to
to
the
the
US,
US.
yeah.
And this another fungi kind of food, I don't remember the name, which she was packing. And this kind of a thing is amazing. Some people come here and start real estate.
Yeah.
Some come here and they start, like we are talking about shea butter. You look for the local guys, you start a company, you look for the local guys, you buy the shea butter from them, you package it and you ship. So you need that. So imagine you are an IT person and you want to maybe to provide IT services as a consultant.
Yeah.
Probably you are working as a nomad, what do we call them? Nomad tourist or nomad worker from the US, freelancer. From the US, you're in Nairobi, but you start a company, a consultancy company where you're offering services as an IT. You will definitely stay where the company is.
And let me tell you one thing about Africans, and this is for, if not all of these African countries I've traveled to. When they hear that this business is by a foreigner, the trust is higher than for their locals. Now, when you're even coming from the US and starting businesses around IT and all of these businesses, well respected, even small businesses, no matter how small it is, when they learn that this is an African American doing this business, the rest of them are dead. Then that's the kind of support they will give you.
Yeah, the support is immense. Then we have businesses like, imagine you want to do coffee, you pack it and sell it abroad. Like you want to have your own brand of coffee. You can relocate, you can stay in Nairobi, but because where they grow coffee, and in Nairobi it's like 100 kilometers away, so you can be moving out, getting your materials, coming and packing it.
And let me tell you, with
but
the coffee,
you can also do it in the village. You can have your tea in the village towns, because there's power, there's everything. Shea butter in Burkina Faso, you can stay in Ouagadougou and getting, but it would be better if you're in those villages and staying with those people.
Yeah, I was just saying, with the coffee business and what you've just given as shea butter business, the good thing about guys coming from the diaspora is, if you were to create a network from that side even before leaving, and then come here and start your own brand, it's not even difficult. It's just a brand. Branding, because if it's grinding the coffee beans, there's machinery, there's people doing it. You can even just go and buy a whole grinded and whatever sack of coffee, like 50 kgs, 100 kgs, whatever you want. Come to your house, maybe get a store somewhere, be packaging it, shipping it to the US. That's how simple it is. There's a family, the ladies from the US, they're living in a village somewhere in Kenya. They've started a very big brand just from nothing.
Mackenzie
in Kenya. Maybe you can check her out. She's you see the channel.
They are doing a lot of things. They are keeping livestock. They are doing beekeeping, a lot of other things.
But the one that is thriving for them is the coffee business, because she already has a network in the US, working with her sister. She's already distributing from that side. Her job is just to make sure that the logistics from this side are up to par.
And these things, it's not just the abroad. You can sell them here.
Of course, it's locally and abroad. Imagine that.
Your packing sells it off. Yeah. Then says I stay away from.
Did you answer the how long should you sell? It's the same.
Yeah. Because now that depends. Yeah. But you need to experience. You can stay 1 week in the city, then go somewhere in those village towns and stay for 2 days. Go to another one. Keep moving for 1 month, then go back home.
And you'd never know where you're really comfortable unless you go. If you be closing up yourself to say, I'll just move into the big city and stay there, it's safer, it's there's electricity, there's whatever, then you probably be losing out, because maybe the village is the kind of vibe that you would be
Yeah.
excited with if you were to go and experience for some time. So it's good to experience and see, nah, this is not for me. Go back to the city, establish yourself from there,
Yeah.
All
So it's
right.
saying I stay away from all these YouTubers who seek to confuse Africans in their identity and about Africa. The only person you should listen to is Mama Arikana, Pielo Lumumba, Malema, those Pan-Africanists who,
Are you forgetting Traore?
there's
Yeah.
those Pan-Africans who talk about our brotherhood.
Mm.
We have, what is Bishop Maponga?
Maponga, yes.
Yeah, we have those people who talk about,
Decolonizing.
and us coming together from wherever we are. Listen to Wodemaya and a lot of other people who support Africans and, wherever you are, coming together and building a community.
And let me tell you something also, a very serious factor to who you can resonate with. Some people are still relying on the religion part of things, still, still trying to call up on people, but with that religion aspect of things. And then there are those who are detaching themselves from religion. If you listen to PLO, it tells you that Christianity is a tool of colonialization. He's not even secretive about it. If you listen to Maponga, he's very clear about it. So unless you know where you stand as you listen to Maponga and feel like, what? Did you just say that about Jesus? And maybe you feel like, nah, this is not the kind of guy for me. Then there's still those people who still make you understand some of these things according to the Bible, and they won't run away from the Christianity part of things. So it's also about the individual.
Yeah.
Which one do you resonate with? Is religion something so important to you? Christianity, Islamic, such that if you hear somebody saying something about Jesus Christ of Nazareth, you're like, I'm out, you're like, this is not for me. So sometimes you listen to Maponga and it's like, that is just a joke. Church is just a joke, So, and you are so much into church, you feel like, what did he just say?
Yeah, that's a very heated discussion.
Yeah, so
But by the way, guys, if you are, for the first time, for the first time when you are coming to the motherland, I would recommend trying to experience the culture. Like, for example, there are thousands of
tribes.
There were nationalities, but those who came and colonized us called us tribes. But those were different nationalities, kingdoms, and each of these kingdom has its own culture, and culture is tied to spirituality. If you can come and want to experience culture, like people come to Kenya and they go stay with the Maasai for a night, overnight, you can do that. You go experience the culture and the spirituality. You can go to Benin when they are having, it's usually on January or Feb, when they have this voodoo festival. Go and stop being scared of the African spirituality and experience it. Then you can start looking for your own spirituality. You can start understanding. Go to Mali, where we have the Dogon tribe. Go to Niger. Niger, we have this tribe which, they apply makeup. The men apply makeup and they show off their teeth. You remember?
Come to Kenya, drink some blood from,
with the
cows,
Maasai. Go to Uganda, Rwanda.
Go to Namibia, the ones where South Sudan, where they wash themselves with the pig.
Yeah, and
with the animal.
go to Eswatini.
Yeah, we walk naked.
What is the ceremony?
Umhlanga.
Yeah, where the reed dance, where girls dance with their bare chest for the king. So there's a lot to experience in Africa. So brother Samuel Lopez saying, I love it. African diaspora and Africans from the motherland with find a common ground, halfway on both sides. The land of Africa is greater than all of us. Absolutely correct.
And one thing I can say about finding a fair ground, what did he say?
To find a common
ground is the fact that even us, there are things that you cannot agree with in some cultures, but it's not for you to agree with.
Yeah.
It's just for you to know that, hey, Maasais drink blood. If
And
you
you
are,
respect
if you are,
it.
if you're into that vibe, try it. If you're not into that vibe, leave it. You don't know why they do that. The culture is deep. And when you are coming from the diaspora and seeing some of these things being done, some cultures they marry more than one wife. And maybe you are coming from the diaspora as a single woman and your man is polygamous. If you can't handle that, leave that guy. He's not for you. Look for somebody else. There's others that are not in that kind of vibe. So, it's about us learning, understanding. Even myself, I'm very much African. There's some practices that I just cannot resonate with. But it's not for me to judge them. It's not for me to say this is rubbish, this is whatever. I just respect it and I'm out. If it's something that I can't handle, I'm out of it.
You're out. And okay, Ang is saying African spirituality predates Christianity and even Muslim invasion. My college professor, Dr. Owo, that's a Kenyan native. His class was refreshing for an American Pan-African black nationalist. Yeah, it's true. And there are some people who tell you that most of these things that you see in Christianity or in Islamic, they are African spirituality. Only that it caps you to a point. Religion gets you to a point and you cannot go beyond that. Like, you cannot ask any question. Like, this has happened, you don't ask why and you say it's God's will. No, in African spirituality, you ask
You find
why.
out. You have
And you
to be
find out
inquisitive,
why.
right?
In spirituality, in the spiritual realm, why is this happening?
For example, if like you are losing a family member every single year in that family, in Christianity they'll say that is just God's will, it was their time. But in African spirituality, you have to be inquisitive. Why is this happening? Is it because of witchcraft? Is it because of something that we have not done to appease our ancestors? Because it comes with appeasing your ancestors and all of those things. So you find that if you were to follow whatever you had not done as a family, according to the African spirituality, everything becomes normal.
Nothing.
But for the other, it will say, pray about it. The following time it continues, it's God will,
Yeah.
So there's also those conflicts where somebody just needs to find their ground. There's a sister, I don't know if it's a sister or a brother, the Church of YouTube, something like that. To the Church of YouTube. I think they have a channel called To the Church of YouTube, who is very much against African spirituality. You can feel this person when they are commenting that they are totally angered about
we respect
it.
her belief. We respect her belief and knowledge. Yeah, and we maybe in future you want to venture into African spirituality.
Just even understanding.
Yeah.
It's good to understand.
Before we go very deep in African spirituality, relocating to the motherland, if you want to relocate, there's something that you want to go there and raise your family, right? But you need to maintain yourself. And this is where we are talking about investing. And there's someone I do respect.
Maintain your lifestyle.
Yeah, maintain your lifestyle and also raise your family, take them to school, hospitals. Actually, hospitals. In Africa, private hospitals are the best because the government, the way you see the people being treated by the government. So it's the same when you look at the hospitals, they are a mess. It's the same when you look at schools, a mess. Mostly, yeah.
You're safer in private hospitals.
Yes. So they are very good, private hospitals in Africa. So you need maybe an insurance cover, or you need money. You need money because they are not cheap. But if you have to go to the government hospitals have the best doctors, because they have the best doctors because these are the well trained, but the worst services. But if you get that doctor directly, you'll be treated very well.
But now, even for these doctors, you find that most of them have their own private clinics.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They won't give you as much attention as they would if you were to come to their private.
Yeah. But then you have different levels of private hospitals. We have those big, like the level of national hospitals. Then we have those mission hospitals. Mission hospitals were started by the church. Very long time ago, they were good. But nowadays, it's business, like the church's business. So it's good that you are able to maintain your lifestyle here in the motherland. And that's why we are talking about coming and visiting, looking at the opportunities that you can invest. And there are even consultants who are ready to do that for you, like to tell you these are the businesses which are good, doing good. These are like we had a brother who had such a business in Senegal,
Yeah?
but I think he
He
stopped.
stopped.
Yeah, but it was good. We should start such business. Guys, let us know if we should.
The consultancy just for
Yeah,
investments.
yeah. But Mama Arikana has started a DTI, and I think it's doing very well. It's in Tanzania because they wanted to construct a transport system from Tanzania, the east coast of Africa, to the west coast of Africa in Angola or Gabon or around those areas, through Congo. And we had information from one of our brothers that they are even venturing in Burkina Faso, and I think people are already trying to invest. So one thing you need to, if you have to relocate, you need to know how you continue making money. We have a brother in the US, I don't think he joined today, who has these plans, and he wants to, as long as you want to come and invest, you are still doing something, some freelancing. Maybe you are working as a nomad, or you continue offering services online as you here. And the good thing about being here is, for example, in Kenya, $1 is about 145 Kenya shillings. So $1 cannot buy you food in the US, but $1 can feed you for a day.
That's a lot of food.
You see?
Well, depending on where you're buying.
Yeah, depending on where you're buying. But
you could still survive on $1.
But one banana is like 5 shillings, or let's say 10 shillings. 10 shillings is like 110 over 145. It's not even a cent of a dollar. It's very little. That's a banana. So if it's food products, most are organic and cheap, very cheap. If it's lifestyle, the same. So if you are working from the US, or if you're working online and you are making, say, $5,000, you have a lot of money. You can live
large.
You live large, because we are talking about, if you live in a very nice house costing about 70,000 in the high end areas, the places we are calling the upper echelons of Nairobi, you are paying about 70,000 Kenya shillings. That is not even 1,000. Yeah.
So you still have a lot to save, to invest.
Yeah. And schools, you can get good schools for your children. You can get a lot of things.
We have private, international schools, government schools, just a variety.
Yeah.
I was raised in the this is Ang says, I was raised in the shrine of Black Madonna Pan-African Church. We are in Detroit, Houston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Liberia, Nigeria. Our life is to reverse Christian damage of Hey, I've never heard of this one. Of colonialism. Wow, that sounds interesting. I have never heard of Shrine of the Black Madonna Pan-African Church. So, this church, have you heard of it?
No. Black Madonna. I think I've heard of
Black Madonna Pan-African Church.
In Detroit, Houston, South Carolina, Atlanta, Liberia, Nigeria. Our life is to reverse Christian damage of colonialism.
So it's a church,
but it's focusing on Black people.
So do you guys worship Jesus Christ?
Okay, let me tell you something that my dad used to tell me when I was growing up. He used to tell me like this story of King Herod wanted to kill Jesus, right? And at that point, they are saying Jesus was leaving the Middle East. and they had to somewhere they say around Israel Sinai, and they had to run away to Egypt. Okay, and at that point Egypt was black. So we have two scenarios. Either Jesus was black, so he came to hide in amongst black people, or the whole Middle East from Egypt
Was black.
was black. So there are those two scenarios. So most likely, if he existed, he was black. So I support this church.
Wow, I'd love to. In fact, I wish it was somewhere in East Africa we could have maybe visited, even Southern Africa. Sounds like an interesting church. So, what are the preachings? What goes on? I would love to. Is this like a revolutionary church?
Like the Rastafarian.
Yeah, of course, I've heard about that one, and I think I understand it a little bit. But this one, I've never. I think I'll do my research. Sounds interesting,
Yeah,
really.
it should. Then saying, I recommend visiting the villages and small towns. That's where they were there. Yeah. And by the way, do you see these organizations that come?
They're
Hey,
in the
we are fighting
villages.
poverty. Hey, we are bringing Christianity. Hey, we are helping small scale farmers.
They
Hey,
are in the.
they are not in
deep-
Nairobi.
No,
Some are deep in Lake
somewhere you
Turkana.
could have never imagined
Yeah.
even cars go to that place.
They
are
like,
there.
They are deep, and they think that's where people don't have help.
And that's one thing that the stupid part about Africans, and I'll put myself in, because we believe whatever, we're just gullible to anything that is given to us. If they say that place is not safe, like I saw I've seen a lot of YouTubers going to Somali, these countries where you have been told it's just a no-go zone area. But because most of us would believe whatever we are told by the media, Western media that is, we then tend to believe it and just stick to that narrative. And these guys are doing everything, exploiting our resources in those villages, just because they have scared us. They know we will never go to we will never.
We don't go there, and the local people don't know what is happening.
That's it.
But when you see these guys going to these small villages, they go saying we are helping people there, but they are going to scout. Like Ibrahim Traore was saying about the army. Those guys are not even army; they are geologists. They go with the small testing machines
to go and check on your resources.
Resources they come with the red soil.
You should check a lady called Ichi Boots on YouTube. I think she's from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That lady uses a motorbike from West Africa to the deepest far end of.
Like I think
she's in Angola probably.
Yeah, imagine she went from Europe, came to North Africa, Senegal, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau. She came down to Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon.
And she maneuvers through the forest, the villages. There's no way I saw her feeling threatened, feeling unsafe. And it's our own African continent. And for us, an African would say, I would never go to Congo.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
The one she was saying about evading places where there could be conflict. Yeah, that's okay.
Just what you have to do as a human being. But it doesn't mean that the whole of Africa is not safe. It's
And once you come and you visit for your first time, you experience the people, the village life. Nowadays there are B&Bs, furnished apartments, even in the villages. You just go there, you stay, you meet people. It would be good if you knew someone or you connect with someone local, because you definitely find people. Especially the motorbike guys. You just tell them, I want you to be taking me around when I wake up, and I'll paying you this. Because mostly they make about $20. And they'll take you everywhere the whole day. Then you can experience and with them you'll be able to visit all the local places. They will introduce you to the local people, their fellow people, take you to their homes,
even teach you a few
local
words
language,
in the languages.
So it's a lot of fun. Like you remember, we went to Rwanda. We were staying in Kigali, but we only one day we stay in Kigali. We would go to
down in the villages,
and the people are so welcome. You tell them we are not from here, we are just visiting, you have village town, and you're like,
They
wow.
want to tell you everything about their village in just a few minutes they are spending with you.
They will say, we want the local food. We don't want anything that we know. We want the local food. And we'll be like, yeah, we are recommending this. It was beautiful. Yeah. So visit East Africa, visit West Africa, visit South Africa, and but avoid those neighborhoods. They are avoidable everywhere. So Ang is saying, we believe in a lot of the Bible as metaphors of real life, that everyone is a black messiah that embodies the energy of Jesus Christ the same. We don't believe in focusing on sacrifice. We are Angs. We don't believe in living a life to get to heaven in the sky. Wonderful. We don't believe in hell underground. Wonderful. We don't focus on the westernized purification through the. That's amazing. Because 2 days ago, we were listening to this lady from South Africa who was saying her biggest turnaround was when she entered a plane. She entered a plane and she was thinking that.
And this is an old woman,
Once out there, she was going to see God. And the only thing she saw was the sky, the clouds.
How disappointed.
We're like, what? So
growing up, I've always been told heaven is up there. And you enter into a plane and you just keep on. And you're wondering, when do we get to heaven? When do we get to see God? Yeah, for some of us, heaven and hell, these are things that were told so that for fear we can get scared. And if they tell you that we are going to kill you, and when you die you are going to hell, you avoid that. But them, they are killing you, and the Bible says you should not kill. So where do they go to? So they're so pure that it's like the way they say that in heaven you get more, you get gold, you get, but they are coming to mine our gold here. Yeah, I mean heaven is created with gold. And man, why waste our African gold then? Yeah. So there are a lot of things to learn, and that's nice. Yeah, Uganda is beautiful. Uganda is green, and they have a lot. What did you see in Uganda? Bananas and that big jackfruit. Yeah, you enjoy jackfruit in Uganda. Kenya, what is in Kenya? Coffee and tea. Okay, they are coffee, tea. That is what you can say, like you see everywhere in the highlands. But there are a lot of other things, like people like eating roasted meat. Ethiopia and Eritrea, injera or anjera. Yeah, Ethiopia and Eritrea, you find anjera and a lot of spices, chili. And a lot of coffee. You eat food in those countries, your mouth is watering because a lot of chili. But they also do a lot of coffee, because coffee is originally from Ethiopia. And you want to taste Ethiopian coffee, man. It's bitter. But it's good. It's good. Yeah. Dan says we have a lot of similar fruits in Jamaica. But Jamaica, I think, from the videos that I've been seeing with all these YouTubers going there right now, there's a lot of diversity compared to in Kenya. Especially Aki. We don't have Aki in Africa. I've not seen it. No. Maybe in West Africa. They have the breadfruit. I think West Africa, they have it in Ghana. Yeah. I don't know. And breadfruit, I think they do have breadfruit. I don't know. And a lot of Jamaica is so much Africa than Africa. I want to visit Jamaica. Maybe next year, God willing. Yeah. I want to visit. But Jamaica, for me, feels like Madagascar. So, Dane, are you in Jamaica, or where are you watching us from? Yeah. So, I love Jamaica. And Jamaicans, when you see them being interviewed, you see like people who have this knowledge of their origin. Like they do know the Africans and they want to be Africa, and they know the only thing that is preventing them to like feel joined completely is the fact that the AU has not completely taken them in as African Union
part of it,
Yeah.
like part of the African Union.
Also, the fact that it's so damn expensive
Traveling to
from
Jamaica from
to
Africa,
Africa and the same.
and we don't have a direct
So even
flight.
if you wanted to, as a Jamaican, to come and experience the motherland, I mean, how long would you have to save?
But
just to
we
be
are
able to
getting
afford-
there. We are getting there.
Yeah.
I know, and I have a feeling that in the coming 5 years or so, Africa will have woken up, and we'll have presidents who want to connect every black person wherever they are, and it will be easy middling.
Dan says she's watching. It's a she.
From Philadelphia, USA.
Dan, sorry if I have just you know nowadays there's just a mix up. So Dane, I think we have guys called Dane and ladies called Dane. So yeah, please let me know if it's she or he. Philadelphia, USA. That is very nice. And do you have any roots maybe from Jamaica? Most of the guys in the US, especially those watching us from the US, if you hear them saying I'm from Jamaica but currently living in the US, which is something also very nice. And the community there, I would love to know how's the community if you have moved from Jamaica to the US. Do you guys have like
Jamaican communities or
like-
West Indies community?
not like Jamaican, like these are just Jamaicans, and like you have Nigerians. When you go to Italy, for example, you find a community of Kenyans, and you feel like, wow, this is some little Kenya in Italy, in Rome. And then when you go to some places in the US, you find a lot of Nigerians. They've even established themselves. It feels like you're in Lagos in the US. So,
Yeah.
what about Jamaica? So, is it because maybe it's closer to home, so you just mind your own business, you know?
Okay, but I don't think so, because there are a lot of islands in the Caribbean, West Indies, and I know people feel the brotherhood. Most, okay, I'm not talking about the Dominican Republic, but I think there's always a way of feeling that you want to be closer to your brother and your sisters. Yeah, you want to speak your language.
Wow. Do you close it up?
Yeah, I think we are done one now.
So guys, thank you so much. Dane, you have been so active.
Carlos, we cannot wait to meet you.
Yes, please don't forget to shout out Mike. You've been here. Thank you so much, guys, for your Dejuma. Yeah. All of you have been so interactive in the comments. We have appreciated you. It has made the conversation.
And we are looking forward to welcoming you in the motherland.
Yeah, so this week has not been a good week for us on YouTube. There's a new comment here, probably. Book. Thank you, fam. Book of Asaf. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just saying it has not been. I was born and raised in Jamaica, you see? The general Black African Caribbean community. That's nice. That's nice.
Too many of our people focus on magical Jesus walking on water and turning water to wine, stuck in mental slavery, and applying those principles to our own lives, waiting for second coming of Christ.
Hi.
True. And it's like we are not closing this. So when I was growing up, most of those good nursery schools were owned by the church. And the church priests were mostly white. So Italian who have come and learned the local language, and they preach to you. And when you're in school, they used to come during weekdays on motorbikes or their cars carrying goodies, sweets. So we grew up knowing that when you see a white person, you're expecting a sweet or
something nice, good.
Something as a kid, even if it's one sweet. So that's most of the people in Africa. That's why they think the white man will be saving them. That's why it is easy for them to carry a statue of Christ who's white, or the mother of Christ who's white, and go around singing and praying, and
some saying like their mothers they are not, you can't even compare.
Yeah, you cannot, like, their mother is below that statue you're carrying. You don't know if it's true or not. But if you come to Africa originally, there's no one who was more respected than a mother, because that was the person who would bring life and continue, the respect. But when you listen to them, they talk about women empowerment. I don't know, women are being done this, women cannot do this, a lot of things. But those things like voting, women were not allowed to vote in the US. But in Africa, they used to be leaders. If you know, like Amina of Zazu in Nigeria, because I'm talking about someone who is known. We have in Ethiopia, we have even here in Kenya, big leaders of the communities here who are women. But they will not tell you that. They will not tell you that. And until we are able even to act our own movies of our heroes, our leaders, and show how it was, we will keep until
We've
we
been enslaved
decolonize
for,
the
yeah.
media. We'll remain mental enslaved. But we're hoping that in the next 5-10 years, it will be a different thing. And Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and a lot of other people are showing us. Even President Museveni, President Afwerki of Eritrea, Malema, Pierre Lumumba, Mama Rikana Chiombrikwao. We have the lady from Eritrea, Bereket. What's her name? I'm forgetting. There are a lot of people. You go to the Francophone, we have people like
Sabe.
Kemisabe. We have our sister Natalie Yamb. We have even Osman Sonko, who's been arrested by them. Those are all Pan-Africanists who are working DNA to ensure that people are waking up. Even YouTubers, a lot of them, us and a lot of other people who are doing
The
this.
movement is just
Yeah,
big.
it's big. We keep celebrating. And thank you guys. Thanks so much that you keep supporting us, watching our videos. When you watch our videos and we like, wow, 1,000 people have watched this video, we get that momentum and motivation to do another one. And like right now, like she said, this week we got demonetized. Of course, we were not making so much out of it, but we got demonetized. But we said we are continuing. We cannot stop, because this is not about the money. It's about reconnecting with our brothers and sisters and waking up people who have not waking up, and also showcasing what the 3 countries and our Pan-Africanists are doing and are saying to wake up our, they say this is the 4th generation, and the 4th generation is the one that will liberate Africa.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And we're seeing a lot of passionate young Africans actually doing this, because this for us, it just came as a passion.
Yeah.
I think I remember even just being in university, I used to attract a lot of foreign friends, well, from my country. It's not foreign, all African, but I'll just call them foreign friends. Me having that diversity and people around me, I think it's just something that you start at a very young age, realizing that this is Africa, we are one.
Yeah.
We love, I should love this brother, this sister, just the way it is. I love my own brothers and sisters from my own country. So stopping right now for us, it's not an option, because even when you are just sitting in the house and maybe having a conversation about something, we get angry about some of these things we see happening on the TV, and we're like, why is this thing happening? So there's no way that this movement or this whatever, this move that YouTube has done to us can kill that momentum, because it's just in us. You sit, you are like, why can't we just talk about this nonsense that is currently happening in this country? So we hope that you will continue to support us. Liking the video, guys, goes a long way. Yeah. YouTube will push the video. YouTube will, the algorithm, it will recognize the video as something worth to be listened by other people. And through that, more people get the message. Some people will see our video and be like, I never thought this was happening. And they're like, oh my goodness, after these years, and we thought everybody's
the video in Chad, not a lot of people reported it.
Exactly.
So
some of these things, some guys don't, like, honestly, I remember just thinking about what Gaddafi had done in Libya and thinking that guy has messed up Libya.
And I don't know what, because then we knew Gaddafi was a monster, but but for people, most people, but for me,
Hey,
I was like, I knew Gaddafi was
lucky you.
good.
Mhm.
And there was a documentary that came later
Mhm.
and talked about what Gaddafi had done for Libya and what he wanted to do for Africa.
Mhm.
Then Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe,
Wow, people knew this guy was a dictator. I don't
the
know
most
what.
evil. And us, imagine we were just neighbors with Zimbabwe, but to us, Mugabe was just an evil
monster,
man,
yeah.
a monster.
Yeah.
Imagine, and this is somebody, we speak the same language, we understand each other, but you don't even understand what is happening because the narrative that has been sent is
And
that
you're
this
watching
guy,
the mainstream
we are
media.
watching the mainstream media, we're just gullible to every rubbish they are giving us. So for me, Mugabe was a bad guy, and he's just here, my neighbor.
Yeah.
And you wonder, why are we still
And
entertaining this?
talk about social media. Do you know the same has been happening to President Museveni of Uganda? People have been seeing him like a dictator, even when the West report it. They report it as they report him as a dictator. But when that guy speaks and you see what he's doing to Uganda, although people say he's been there for quite some time and they are not seeing a lot, but I think right now is when he's doing a lot. Yeah, so we appreciate you guys. Ang says thank you, and Ase, we say the same. Thank you and Ase. And we love you guys and continue supporting us and sharing and liking our videos.
And liking this live, if you have not liked it, please.
Yeah. And we continue talking, continue giving you videos. We continue talking in the community section until we win as a black
Eventually,
community.
we will win.
Yeah.
I think the Sahel has just given us hope.
Nobody will separate us.
Yes.
Nobody will extinguish this new spirit of Africa. Nobody will kill the spirit of Africa. It's fatherland or
death.
death.
We shall conquer.
Yeah. So we see you in the next one. Bye bye.
And we shall soon be having a video. Please make sure you tune in, like, subscribe, share. See you.
Bye bye.